How does it feel to be on another podcast, being that you have your own?
Hi, I'm on your podcast. It's like, that better not be on the B-roll either, dude. I'm calling it right now. What's the question?
Ish, what's your next goal now that you've done leasing, real estate, podcasting?
The next thing I'd like to do is my homie Nico. Appreciate you, bro. I know he's going to be listening to this. He's going to text me. If this was live, he'd be calling me right now while I'm on it.
1 hour later.
Who's calling?
Nico. Come on, Nico.
Told you, dude. Every time. Dude,
busy.
it's my homie. He's like, I sense he's on a podcast. I've had dudes take off on me, bro. I'm like, I'll talk shit. I'm like, you
man.
If I catch you.
You start throwing sticks.
Flashlight. Baton. Just think. I caught him. I looked at dudes. I'm like, why'd you run? You ain't look fast.
Oh.
Got you, didn't I?
Have you ever been in a situation where you feared for your life?
I think showing up to work, you kind of have that fear in the back of your head. There's a noise complaint. I knock on the door. Dude's wasted, opens the door and points a gun to my face.
We're like twins.
Don't say that. Look at... Dude, like, it's crazy how you see someone on camera and you're like, oh, okay. And then you see him in person. You're like, dude, I'm like, damn, okay. Tall, thick, all right.
Yeah, well.
Like, people look at me and they're like, I thought you were taller. I'm like, wow, great. Appreciate that.
So
yeah. No, you're jacked though. I'm like, oh yeah, cool, thanks. I'm 5'7" though.
Welcome to the Barbells and Bourbon podcast, where the conversations are raw, real, and relatable. I am your big, bald-bearded, barbell lifting, bourbon drinking son of a bitch, Shaun. And joining me today is Ish Lopez.
What's up, bro? I appreciate you for having me on.
Welcome to our home, Ish.
Dude, it's overwhelming.
What do you got to say? Yeah, you walked in here and you were taken aback a little bit.
I mean, it's called Barbells and Bourbon for a reason.
Makes
the
sense.
Barbells and the bourbon.
It's all starting to make sense. Ish, there's very few people in life that make me feel like a complete slacker. You happen to be one of them.
Oh.
You're a real estate agent, a police officer. You practice jiu-jitsu. You obviously spend some time in the gym. You are a father. You're a podcaster. We can continue if there are more, but with all these things that you do and all these experiences that you've lived, what message do you want the viewer to get out of our conversation today?
So the message that I just try to portray every day in life is just like finding your fire and letting... Am I allowed to swear?
Yes. We're past 30 seconds, so you're good.
And letting that motherfucker burn, right, in anything. And when I talk to people and they're like, well, I'm just doing this. Well, do it like it's the last thing you're going to do. Yeah. Like everything depends on it. And that's how I try to approach everything, right? So the message would be just find what you want to do and remain relentless in the pursuit to doing it. Yeah. Like, be fired up. It doesn't matter if you're working a fast food joint or you're in a corporate world or you're at the gym. Do it and do it well.
Do you feel like that passion has sort of started to fizzle out with the generation today?
Oh, with today's generation, unfortunately, yeah. I think people see, and I think social media plays a lot into that. I think people see where someone's at and they don't see themselves there, so it disheartens them, and then the passion is gone. And what people don't realize is like that person took a lot to get there, you know, and you have to find what's gonna motivate you. There's that motivating discipline, right? But sure, you need to find that motivating factor that gets you started, and then once you find that like little timber, that's when you're like, this is it, and you just hit it.
So you obviously dabble in a lot of different things. Do you feel like you've found your purpose and your true passion yet?
No, absolutely not. And I think it's more of a personal issue. You know, I never feel completely satisfied, and I think that's what fuels me to keep going and keep exploring and keep trying new things. And you know, hopefully one day I find that thing that I narrowed down in. But honestly, there's so much to life and so much to this world. Like, I can't just do one thing because I started, as a cop and found so much joy and stuff in that's very niche, right? And then real estate, found so much joy and stuff that's involved with that. A podcaster, yeah, I guess. But even
nothing
wrong with that. I just I had this like thought of podcasters, right? And then I meet a lot of cool people locally who do podcasts, and I'm like, all right, maybe this is something that's good. I just see myself as like a dude trying to learn people, see what drives them, and then it's kind of like selfish as well too, right? Because I'm trying to take from their stories, their motivations, and apply it to what I'm doing. So will I ever find that thing? I'm hoping. If I don't, I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing.
Let me flip that around on you a little bit. What if you did find that thing and you were like, okay, I'm satisfied? I think life would kind of be scary with nothing more to drive towards. Not that you can't excel at that thing, but I think not finding your purpose is healthy in a way, because you try new things, you take new risks, you fail and you learn from it, and you just keep on going. So in a way, maybe it's a good thing that you haven't found it.
I would agree. No, I would agree. I think once we get comfortable, growth tends to like stop, because this is what I wanted, I got it. And for a lot of people, that's fine. I think there's a very small percentage of people who they can't live in comfort, because then fear kicks in, because it's like, what else can I be doing right now? And I find myself doing that when, I do schedule downtime, right? Because I got so much going on. I'll schedule downtime. And then during that downtime, I'm thinking of all the things I could be doing during this downtime.
You feel like you're wasting time.
Yeah. There's so much to do. So much to do in so little time.
So true. Well, I'm glad you're here. I think that's a great message. And, if you're one of the people that set cruise control through life and you're happy with that, that's fine. I'm not one of them. You're not one of them. So don't turn away, because we're going to be arm wrestling later.
Oh,
and I'm actually kind of nervous about this.
I heard there's strategy to it, so I don't have strategy. No, okay. I haven't.
So you're saying there's a chance. So I want to learn more about you as a person. Obviously, you told me what your interests are. I know what you do in your day jobs, but I want to learn more about you and what created who you are. So where are you from originally-ish?
So my family's from Puerto Rico. We moved to Erie, so I'm from the north. I'm an Erie boy. Grew up there, and then I moved here about 6-7 years ago. So I haven't really, I bounced around in Erie, house to house to house to house, but grew up locally in Erie, and now I'm a Yinzer, I guess. Am I allowed to say that, only being here like 6-7 years? Is there a time limit?
I guess so. It's the worst. It's the worst accent / language on the planet. I'm sorry.
Pittsburghese. Not to offend anyone, but when I hear it, I don't know if it's like to like be playful. I'll like start talking like it. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I just pick it up. Or like other accents. I'll like start talking like it. Like Italians. I get mistaken for Italian all the time. Moving my hands don't help. But yeah. But dude, people find me and they're like, oh bro, you're so and so. I'm like, I don't know who that is. Are you Italian? We'll start talking, and then next thing you know, I have an Italian accent, and I'm going like this.
No, I'm not Italian.
I'm like, what is this Italian? Who drinks the tequila? I don't even know what Italians drink, but I want that.
Wine.
Yeah, a lot of wine. What's the amaretto?
Amaretto,
right?
Yep.
Like, I'll start drinking amaretto, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm a tequila dude.
I was going to like introduce you. I was going to be like, crikey. That's a big one.
Look at the size of his arms.
But knowing that you were going to continue that accent, I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Yeah, we don't want an episode of my accents that might drop your viewership.
That could be like part 2 in the future. So you from Erie, moved to the city. Now you're a city boy, a Yinzer. How did you adapt to that? Was it like kind of a big culture shock, or did you just blend right in?
So I'm like a chameleon, man. Like I put myself in rooms and I become that environment, and that's good. And in my past life, it's been very bad, right? Because I put myself in the wrong rooms. So coming down here, you know, before I moved, I probably visited like 4 or 5 times, and I was like, dude, this city's huge. This is like a bigger Erie. And then I moved down here, and I realized it's not as big as you think,
Right.
and everyone kind of sticks to their own little neighborhoods and whatever you call boroughs or wards. That's the thing in the
Wards.
city. Yeah, they stick
Yeah.
to their wards, you know.
Well, you're in a
So-
borough right now, the borough of Plum. So, welcome to our
Oh,
borough.
so this is Plum.
This
I've
is
been
Plum
here
Borough.
before. Bro. I've been here before. Not this far out, but like I've been here.
You make it sound like it's like out in the country.
Bro,
well,
I
I
just
mean,
kept going.
kind of is.
I just kept going.
Just kept
Got off
following
the
the
exit,
GPS.
kept going.
So your childhood was primarily in Erie.
Yeah.
What was childhood like for you?
You know, so I get asked that question a lot. And when I first got asked it many years ago, I'd be like, man, my childhood sucked. You know, it sucked. But the older I get, the more mature I get, the more conversations I have with my mother, because she raised me on her own. And the more I got to experience the world and like how other people grow up, I realized like I actually didn't have a bad childhood. You know, I had my mom was in the picture. She worked multiple jobs. You know, I had new clothes for school. There, you know, I didn't have like Jordans and Nikes. I had Shaqs that I told people were the new Jordans. You know, and people saw past that immediately. But you know, I had a roof over my head. It was the projects, but my mom had it decked out like a hotel. You know, we had the living room in the projects I wasn't allowed to sit in because that was for guests. You know, and then moving down here, I'm in these $1 million houses and they have the same living room. I'm like, oh, I know all about that. I mean, different levels,
Sure.
but yeah, couldn't sit in it. So my childhood, I think, shaped me to be the man that I am today. You know, a lot of discipline, a lot of accountability, because I had to be accountable to my mother. You know, I saw her working 3 jobs. I was like, man, like if I fuck off right now, like what message am I sending her? So, my childhood, how I would describe it now, was different. You know, I talk to a lot of people and everyone gives me those eyes like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, don't be like,
Yeah.
there's people who have it better and there's people who have it worse. So I'd say my childhood was good.
So it's kind of perspective for you. You know, you said it sucked because, you know, maybe it did suck for you, and that's totally fine because you didn't have what your other friends might have had, or you didn't have the nice clothes or the biggest house. So, you know, and you grew up without your dad in the picture, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the time, sure, it probably did suck, but now that you're more mature and like you said, looking back at it, it could have been a lot worse.
Bro, my first vacation was as an adult. I went on vacation and people were like, "Oh, we're gonna go on a trip." I'm like, "Cool." And then we got there. I'm like, "What are we doing?" They're like, "We're just chilling." I'm like, "This is vacation?" I'm like, I ain't never been on vacation. I'm like, what? Like, no, like, all I did was work as a kid, you know. Like, but yeah, it makes you appreciate vacations a lot more now. I'll tell you.
Oh,
that.
yeah, I would think so. So what was school like for you? Did you have a lot of friends? You said you were a chameleon. So did you kind of mingle between different cliques?
So I was never the cliquey dude. I'm still not. Like, I can talk to anybody. This is something that's followed me since I was a child, you know. So, you know, I hung out with the goth kids. I hung out with the quote unquote nerds, the artists, the actors. Like, I just, you know, kind of just blended in, and I kind of kept to myself because I never found, you know, that group to lean on. You know, I'd be like, oh, these are cool people, but these are cool people, but these are. So I kind of like always kind of stuck to myself and never gave too much to anybody because I always wanted to like still have something, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
You know, so it was good. You know, I had friends, I had a lot of enemies. You know, that happens. Grew up fighting a lot. You know, because when you're Puerto Rican, you tend to speak your mind, and I had a lot of speaking to do when I was a child. But yeah, no, I'd say I had. You know, I hope people watching this feel like, oh man, I was his friend growing up, dude. What are you talking about? Yeah, we were friends. But yeah, no, it was different. You know, I meet a lot of people and they have friends from they were like in middle school and high school. Like, I don't think I talked to anybody that I went to school with like regularly.
So you said you had enemies. Why do you think you had enemies? Because you were outspoken?
Oh, no. I had enemies because of the line of work I was involved in, which I'll leave it at that. But I was very outspoken.
Okay.
You know, the one thing I can pride myself in is I've always had that like inner voice telling me like, hey, this is wrong. This is wrong. And now granted, what I perceived as wrong then It's different than now that I'm an adult, more mature. But I always had like this code that I followed. You know, like staying true to your word was a big one, like integrity. You know, I'm like, I can do all this, but I won't lie, I won't bullshit, I'll keep it straight. You know, I can do this, but I'm gonna keep it real. So like that was one code you just didn't violate. In respect, right? Like doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're respectful. You can tell someone I don't like you if you're respectful about it, right?
So if you lead something with all due respect, you can say whatever you want.
For sure. Not recommended. No, but like, you know, so if you have an issue with somebody, you know, I would be the dude to go up and be like, look, this is what I heard. I'd rather approach you directly. Like, what is it? And a lot of people growing up didn't like that. You know, oh, you got a problem with me? That's what I'm trying to hash out right now. Like, do we? And then, you know, tensions flare and then fists fly and then.
I respect that though, because a lot of people just let it simmer and they don't talk about it. But at least, you know, at least if you come to someone and say, do we have a problem? This is what I've heard. At least you were giving them a reason why you wanted to talk about it. You weren't just like, what's up? Like just hating them to hate them.
I always open that door.
Yeah.
Even now, you know, at work, there's guys that operate differently than I do. And I understand that. But once you start like trying to drag my name or trying to like question my ethics or stuff like that, I'm going to approach you. Like the little things I'll let go, but I tend to be that dude to be like, yeah, what's up? Yo, hey, can we talk on the side? Hey, what's up? This is what's going on. This is what I feel. Like, am I wrong? And then guys don't like, I'm too aggressive or not aggressive.
You're just trying to understand.
That's it. I'm just trying to learn. I'm just trying to learn.
Can't we all just get along?
And that tends to be my thing now. You know?
I like it. So what'd you do out of school? Did you go to college? I know you went to the academy. When did that happen?
So I was actually one of the first people in my family to go to college. And I went to Penn State. Oh, we are. He didn't do it. He ain't.
I didn't.
Damn.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm older.
It's like, we are what? No, I went to Penn State Barron.
I went to a branch campus too.
Yeah. So, you know, I went there for ulterior motives. And the first year, I completely bombed it. You know, I had just got told I'm having a child. I was working multiple jobs. I'm in college for the wrong reasons, and I'm like, dude, I reached a moment I was like, if I fail right now, no one cares. It's like it's expected of someone like me. And I remember telling myself that, and I was like, yeah, well, fuck them, because that ain't happening. Like, I won't be a statistic.
Okay.
And then I just started pushing, and then I think one of the best things that happened to me in college, two things. I met my homie Nico. Appreciate you, bro. I know he's going to be listening to this. He's going to text me. If this was live, he'd be calling me right now while I'm on it. But
not now, Nico.
Yeah, bro, I'm on it right now. So meeting that dude really changed my life. And then what Penn State did for troubled city youth was they put you in this mentor program. So I was putting this, and I actually never talked about this on a podcast. No, there you go, your first exclusive. But I got put in this mentor program, and there was this guy named Matt, and he was the president of the Erie Bayhawks at the time, it was the NBA D-League team for the Knicks at that time. So he's like, hey, like, let's set up our meeting or whatever. You know, we met, we talked, kind of liked what I had to offer, because he was like, hey, I've never done this before, but like, you want to like come to the games and like be a part of the game? So I kind of was like just hanging out at the games. That led to, you know, me volunteering, and then that led to him offering me a job while I'm in college. And he's like, we've never done this. Like, we don't know how to balance a full-time job with a full-time education. Yeah. A lot of the people may not agree with this in this office, but I think the value you bring will make up for it. He's like, how do you feel about that? Like, I was like, I could do it. Never had like a job like that before. You know what I mean? I worked construction on the summers, and then Golden Corral. Shout out to them. Fucking hate that place, dude. But don't cancel him. I said it. I don't even think they have pool. But I go off, bro. I go off script.
It's cool.
But so yeah, I was like, I could do it. You know, I could do it. And I remember sitting in my dorm room, like, how am I gonna do? Like, they expect 40 hours a week. And I'm a full-time college. You know, I had these other jobs I was doing. I had my kid. I'm like, dude, just one foot in front of the other. You know, game day came. He's like, hey, Need you here at 7. I'm like, bro, the game ain't until like 7 p.m. So like the job I was given was the entertainment operations manager. So I was running like the entire game day show.
Damn.
I ain't never did anything like that. You know, I remember sitting down and just like, and then they just built it. They just installed this like new screen, like Megatron, all this. And they're like, oh, you also have to like, you have graphic experience, like graphic design experience? I'm like, actually, yeah, I do. Oh, well, you have to design all the graphics that go on this. I'm like, that too? I'm like, all right, I got it. So I found a rhythm, you know, I found the rhythm in school. I found a rhythm in this. And then the school actually saw what I was doing. They're like, you're not due for an internship, but if we just put your internship now, then you can be doing both. And it counts as credits. You know, you're showing up to work. So then that's how that ended up going. And I think it changed the trajectory. I met cool people, you know. Seth Curry was one of the dudes I met. Dude's insane. He would hit me up and be like, yo, where the bars at? I'm like, bro, we got a game in 2 days. No. But
I'm not going to be that guy.
I'm not that guy. But no, yeah. So those are the two things I think in college that really set my path different, and just seeing different kids from different areas of the world. And like, we had this one kid who his dad flew him in a Maserati because he needed a ride to school. And I'm like, man, like this is the world. So like that like made me want to chase so much. There's so much out there, and I'm just sitting here comfortable. Like, I'm coming for everything. It will be mine. And then I'll share it.
Challenge accepted. That's like your motto, right? Like you've been thrown, like with that job with the Knicks, you didn't know how to do X, Y, Z, but you're like, all right, yeah, I got this.
And that's my thing. That's my approach when people are like, how do you do it? I just do. You know, like you put yourself in that mix. It's do or die. And you know, I've survived 100% of the challenges I've faced. You know, I'm still here. I'm still going. I got a roof over my head. I'm batting 100%. So like, anytime an opportunity is presented to me, it's like, yeah.
So how did you become a cop?
It's an interesting story. It's actually not that interesting. So I grew up not really liking cops. You know, the friend group I surrounded myself with.
You met a lot of cops.
They were in, yeah. I met a lot of cops. I had a lot of experience with cops. You know, different job titles, opposing jobs, rivals, if you will. But I was, like I said, I never really like dove into any group. So I kind of always stayed to myself, and like I always had that itch. I'm like these dudes really show up. These men and women show up and deal with everybody's problems. Like that's dope to me. You know, I've always been that dude that people approach when they have an issue. And like, well, what should I do about this? I'm like, this is what I would do. Take that with a grain of salt. So I've always had this, like, I love getting a challenge and then figuring it out, if that's the best way to describe it. And I remember I was working construction. I had a conversation with a cop in the area. And he's like, we would talk during lunch and shit. He'd just stop by. I'm like, oh, what's up, bro? I'm like, oh, dude, what's up? With a shovel, you know? I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? He's like, you ever thought about being a cop? I was like, actually, I have, but like, I could never be a cop, you know? In my mind, I'm like, you know, where I come from, my family life, you know, my older brother in and out of prison the whole time. I'm like, I don't think I'd make it. He's like, you'd be surprised.
Why do you think he asked you that? What do you think he saw in you?
I don't know.
Or was he just making conversation?
I thought he was making conversation, but he just kept showing up. He was like trying to recruit me, I feel like. No, I'm just saying that. But that's what I felt. I'm like, dude, like, you want me to work for you guys? Are you guys hurting that bad? Like, you need a Puerto Rican translator? Like, and I say that because Spanish and Puerto Rican Spanish are very different. And Erie, in that area, a lot of Puerto Ricans. Then I moved down here, I've met like 3. I'd be like, yo, Pittsburgh's about to be booming with Ricans.
Nope. You're one of 3.
Yeah, it's like, it's crazy to me. But yeah, I don't know why he kept talking to me, man. I feel like it's one of those things that you're presented with an opportunity, and I'm just like, yeah, you know, another one of those moments. And he was like, you should try it. And I remember on break, I like looked up local academies, and I realized like Mercyhurst Academy was up there, and I'm like, oh, dude, that's like literally
like up the road.
Up the road.
Yeah.
So I had applied. I was like, I'm just going to apply. And the deadline was like in 2 weeks. Someone reached out to me the next day, and they're like, hey, like, if you're serious, you're kind of behind. You got to do this. Orientation is this day. I'm like, man, I'm working that day. Got to figure that out. And then they're like, if you get accepted, and then you're in the academy. So I remember I just rushed everything. I remember going to like FedEx to get my fingerprints done and all this. I'm like, so then they were like, all right, you're good for orientation. I told one of my foremen, I'm like, yo, I think I'm about to be a cop. He's like, go back to the hole. I'm like, all right,
no, really?
yeah. I'm like, all right, dude. Next day, I'm like, I think I'm about to be a cop. And he looks at me, he's like, are you fucking with me? I'm like, no, I don't know. I think I'd be good at it. He's like, yeah, I think you would be too. I'm like, oh, so we're on the same page. I'm like, while we're here, I gotta miss work. He's like, bro, we're installing sewer lines that day. I'm like, cool, call someone from another job. So they actually let me go to that orientation. I remember seeing a bunch of people that I was just like, I don't fit in. I just don't fit in. So I sat in the back, like stayed to myself, passed orientation or made it through orientation. They gave us a start date. Like, pick up your uniforms on this day. I'm like, am I like, I'm in. I'm in.
Was that the first time you ever kind of felt like that? Like you didn't belong?
I go through my whole life feeling like that. Not to get all sappy, just because like you meet people and they're like, yo, these are like my core friends. We do everything together. Like I've never had that. And one thing I don't talk about a lot, but I enlisted in the military, in the Army, made it through basic, got out. Some things happened, and a couple years in, they basically look at me like, you can leave or we can leave you. I was like, well, I heard if you leave me, that's bad. If I leave you, that's okay. So we agreed to disagree on the issue, and I left. And that was like one of those moments I was like, during basic, you form these relationships with people. You know, you're all in this suck together. This mindset gets framed, and it's like, it's pouring rain or it's late at night and you're getting smoked and you're pissed, and then the dude next to you is like, watch this. I'm like, no. And then pisses off the DI, and then you're exercising some more. He's like, that was funny, huh? And I'm like, dude. But like that like relationship, it's like, dude, we'll go through the fire together. I was missing that. So like, I was like, man, what's the next best thing? Being a cop. Like, it's a similar structure, similar responsibilities, a lot of accountability. Like, a lot of people depend on you. It's like, man, that's going to be it. And then I go into this academy class, and I'm like, all these dudes just rolled off their mom's basement, and they're here. No offense to the people I'm still cool with, because there was a solid group of dudes in there I connected with. But in the beginning, I just kept my mouth shut. I was like, I'm not gonna say anything in class. I'm not gonna say, during PT, I'm just gonna run. During DT, I'm just gonna knock people out and do what I gotta do. And then one of the instructors pulled me to the side and like, dude, we like your style. Like, this captain's no longer. You want to be the class captain? And I'm like, me, dude? You sure? I'll run this shit to the ground.
This is the last year for it.
Yeah, I'm like, man, y'all want to be canceled right now. No, so I had that opportunity, and I did take it serious. And then they were like, well, pick your staff sergeant. And there was this kid, he's hilarious. I don't know why I picked him, though. He was funny. That's why I picked him. He was funny, and when they were told him to run, he ran until they told him to stop, and I was like, dude's dope. Picked him, and dude tested my fucking patience all the time. He would like, one of the instructors were walking into the break room, and he had his foot on the door, and the fucking door hits him. No, he was walking into the door, and the instructor had his foot on the door because he was addressing the class, and he goes in and hits the instructor, and he thought it was a cadet. And he like pokes his head through the door. He's like, what are you, a fucking doorstop? And the instructor turns the corner, dude. And I'm sitting in there, and I'm like, and the instructor opens the door, looks at him, and he just goes white. And the instructor looks at me, and I'm like, you can't associate me. I wasn't here with you. So he was that type of dude. Yeah, funny, good dude, hard worker. So when I got that class captain position, I was like, maybe this is something I can lean into. And here I am.
Here you are. So let's fast forward through your police officer career. So what's the highest rank that you got to as an actual officer? I don't know much about rankings. So
what I've learned is rank don't really matter. It matters on paper. It matters on like critical incidents. It matters in pay. But I'm a patrolman, right?
Okay.
I'm a firearms instructor. defensive tactics instructor. I manage our website. I do it all. Like if they ask me, hey, do you know? Yeah, I got it. You know, and I'll become the dude that, you know, people in admin come to him like, bro, how would you handle this situation? I'm like, you asking me as like boss to employee or man to man? Because boss to employee, you don't pay me enough for this shit. Like,
Yeah.
no, like man to man. So I'm like, all right, like this is how I would handle it, you know, this situation, whatever. Up to like the new guy, they come up to me, they're like, hey man, you're the guy to talk to. Like, this is what I'm going through. Like, what should I do? You know, so like, patrolman's the rank, but you know, I try to be there for everybody,
Sure.
from the top down.
Have you ever been in a situation where you feared for your life?
Oh yeah, multiple times.
Yeah.
I think showing up to work, you kind of have that fear in the back of your head. You know, like especially the area I work, it's perceived as like, oh, it's good, it's safe. Like it's all the stuff the media doesn't talk about because the people pay too many taxes, right? But dude, before where I was at, my first job, I was like so new, really didn't have like the mindset and like the approach and everything. I'd knock on it. It was a noise complaint. I knock on the door, dude's wasted, opens the door and points a gun to my face. And I'm just like, I remember having that like, and then like my past life, I've had this before, right? But like, this is different. You know, I was reckless, young, stupid, wild.
You deserved it.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And then I was in that mindset. And right here, I'm like, you just pulled a cop on a gun on a cop, bro? Like, I had that freeze moment. My partner just like grabbed me. And luckily, the dude was just drunk. He thought some random person was at his door. And he like threw it on the ground. He's like, oh, you know. Like, that was one of the moments I was like, oh, man, you can be here and then you can be gone like that. So I took training more serious. Dude, training is something I hope we talk about. That's something I have a huge investment in, a huge passion for. You know, I'm one of the more outspoken ones of like cops who don't train. Like I'll shit on my industry. I will, because I call a spade a spade. There's a lot of cops who don't train. There's a lot of cops who get on this job and demand respect. And one thing I learned is you never demand it. You earn it in everything you do.
Now, when you say train, you mean like physically training?
All training. Like physically training.
Firearms, strength, speed,
defensive
endurance,
tactics.
like you name it.
Case law, you know, case studies, local ordinances. I'm talking like everything, right? Because a strong body's cool, but a strong mind is cooler. And I think a lot of cops, a lot of issues with what we see, and I call it an industry, but in the industry, a lot of the issues is lack of confidence, right? If you go into a physical encounter and you don't train, you have a lack of confidence. So you tend to escalate situations more because, especially in a physical encounter, you fear for your life. Yeah. So what do we do when we fear? It's fight or flight. We don't get to flight as cops. So we're trained, it's ingrained to fight. That's where you see the dog piles. That's where you see cops swinging, bringing out batons, hitting, or worst case scenario, cop pulls out his gun because he's scared. Where if you just trained, you know, physical training, you're not tired, you're not exhausted, you don't get into panic mode. You know, I'm a big jiu-jitsu guy, so we'll mention jiu-jitsu. But training jiu-jitsu, having that close contact, having that person smothering you and trying to control you and tell you where to go, and you know, if you can manage how to control someone, you're less likely to escalate the use of force. But on a less severe thing, you show up to a call and a dude's like, oh, you don't have, you can't do that. That's not, I know my rights. It's like, yeah, I know your rights too. I know my rights. Like, well, this law states that if you don't know, you're going to escalate the encounter. De-escalation is hard to do because you're in this panic mode, right? Someone pulls out a case law, states da-da-da-da-da, and you don't know what he's talking about. You don't know if he's full of shit or if he's actually serious. What are you going to resort to?
Physical.
Well, I'm the boss, yeah. Right? That whole physical intimidation. So when I say training, it's a full spectrum of things.
I never thought of it like that.
Dude, it's
almost
hard.
Fighting with your mind first.
Yeah, and that's officer presence, right? That's the first thing we're taught, officer presence. But it's never explained to what that means. So, like, if you don't take this job serious, officer presence to you is you coming out of your car and walking up. Sure, technically that's officer presence, but it's your demeanor. How you show up. Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? What's going on today? or you over there. It's like both of those are officer presence. One is you're going to connect with someone more. The other one, they're going to look at you and be like, who? Like, I called you to my house. You're in my house and you're trying to tell me what to do. And there's a time and place for that. But like, oftentimes, you know, the first thing I say to someone who's like going off, I'm like, look, bro, you don't want me here. I understand that. I don't want to be here. The sooner we can communicate, get along, the sooner we resolve this, I'll be out your hair.
Yeah.
I get paid the same to sit and watch a traffic light and listen to podcasts. You know, I don't get paid extra to fuck with you. That's not what I want to do. That's not my intention. You know, when you can connect with someone like that, because I was that dude, right? I was that dude on the other side, pissed off the cops were called. So like I can understand. And I think a lot of people who didn't live that life, it's hard for them to put themselves in that situation. You know, one thing, you know, I don't even tell my brother this, but one thing I picture is my brother being that dude I get called to. Like, I will swear at my brother. I will check my brother because I love him, right? So I approach every situation like that. Like, if it calls for me putting you down, holding you and be like, yo, are we good now? Or me going, look, dude, I understand you're going through a tough time. Nobody wants this. I can't even imagine what you're going through, but like, hitting your old lady's not the way to go.
Yeah.
And she feels that's where you're going to escalate to, so you can understand why she called, right? So it's that mental thing, and that presence is more than just physical. How do you approach the situation?
So I have two questions for you. First, I've been pulled over many times, traffic stops, right? And I deserve it, you know, driving too fast or illegal license plate or tint too dark, whatever. But yeah, every cop that walks up to that window is acting differently. Some are really cool. Hey, how's it going today? You know, do you know why I pulled you over? Then you have the other ones that are like, what did I, like, why are you treating me like this, first of all? And I always think they just are having a bad day. They just got off a really shitty call. Like, or is it intimidation?
So I can't really, because it could be anything, right? Like, one thing I tell people when I get that question is like, you have to understand where they're coming from. But it's not fair because that cop also has to understand where you're coming from. So the bigger thing is like, what can you control in this situation? Your approach, right? This cop, and it happens to me. I get pulled over, dude's a fucking asshole. I'm like, bro, like, what? You had a bad, like, did you have a bad day?
Do you
License and registration.
You talk about it? Yeah.
All right, cool, bro. Like, I give it to him. Like, you need to work on your approach. Like, I will, very respectful, but like, it's that, because if I approach someone like that and that was their response to me, the first thing I'm gonna do is be like, oh fuck, like, how am I coming off? But that's just me. I can't say the next cop's gonna do that. But it could be an array of things that we deal with. Like, you know, we had a situation where a dude held his girlfriend hostage and was threatening to kill her. And, you know, the whole time you're there, we can't just run in, but we want to run in. But, like, there's protocol you have to follow and stuff. And she didn't want to come out because she, you know, whatever that situation was. So we're waiting for that gunshot to go off, or we're waiting for the dude to come out and shoot. Like, you don't know, right? There's a lot of unknowns. So you're heightened. You're looking at everything from stupid things that people don't think about, right? This dude's in here. Did he call one of his boys who's going to walk down the street now and try to create a path? Like, you have to think about everything. So you're dealing with all this, right? It gets resolved. Then you get a call for a raccoon in someone's front yard and they just don't want to deal with it. It's not an excuse, but like, those pile up. You know, you respond to this dude and he's like, yeah, get that raccoon out of here. I can understand why a cop would be like, you get the fucking raccoon out of here. Like, you're a grown-ass man. Yeah. You the man of the house, you can't even deal with the raccoon. Not that I feel that way sometimes. I'm just hypothetically speaking. But I'm just like, yeah, you know, I can understand that. But so the cop who approaches you, like, it could be a bad day. It could be he was bullied in high school and all school, and this is his, like, his time to shine, you know? And I call those dudes out and chicks out, too. Like, you know, there's no room for that shit around me. Because it paints us all in a bad light, you know what I mean? You guys do get a bad rap. I mean, rightfully so sometimes. Yeah. I mean, fucking hate cops, man. I wouldn't go that far, but
But yeah, I mean, generally, I'm like, cops are dicks. Like, why do they have to act like they are the most authoritative figure on the planet all the time? Like, can't you just be cool once in a while? You seem to be one of them, so thank you.
I try.
But I just
Well, the truth is, man, there's a lot of people like this. The coolest people I've met are cops, the most laid back people. But that's just the area I work in and the agencies I've had the benefit of working with. But I do see the same YouTube videos. I do travel and encounter those cops too. So I can understand why they're painted like that. But it's the same as like someone sees us at the gym. All these dudes are jacked their assholes. Mm-hmm. And it's like, come talk to me. Yeah. And I had a kid come up to me. He's like staring at me. I'm like, oh, what's up, bro? He's like, what's up? I'm like, you look surprised. He's like, I didn't think you'd say what's up to me. I'm like, what? Did I say something to you? Right. He's like, oh no, man, just like dudes like you. I'm like, dudes like me? No, but it's like, you know, bearded, big, tattoos. It's intimidating. Yeah. You know,
that's why I haven't got tattoos.
Oh, dude,
so I don't want to look like a complete dick.
No, you're just
yeah,
mini one. No, no, but it's that perception, right? Like, and we do that with everything. We do that with everything. We see this small bad in something. It's like, oh, that industry's tainted, or you know, like podcasts. We see those podcasts that are just like, really, people listen to this. But you dive into podcasting and you see podcasts like yours, like Jocko, Joe Rogan. Like, these are podcasts that are very valuable. And if you put your mind to it and listen to it with an open mind and open heart, you're like, man, maybe you can pull something out of it. So in every industry, you'll find the people who slip in for the wrong reasons. And at the end of the day, policing is a job. And some people approach it as a job. Instead of like, you know, I get to do this for people. I get to be here. I get to like be a part of something that's bigger than me. Some people treat it as a paycheck. And it's unfortunate because it's like, you don't train, but you go home and drink bourbon for 6 hours. No offense to bourbon, but it's like, you don't train. You don't put any stake into, well, I don't get paid for that. Oh, but you do. There's an expectation placed on you when you take this job.
And they're demanding that extra respect that they don't deserve too.
Exactly. It's like, so I think, not to generalize, but the guys and girls who approach it like that, they don't have anything to stand on. So they stand on the perceived authority that's given to them with a badge and a gun. I have this piece of metal here and this piece of metal here. You need to listen to me. You're just another dude. I don't need to listen to you. If I wanted to, I'd run right now. And you ain't catching me. I mean, you'll catch me, but I got short legs. But you know what I mean. I got I've had dudes take off on me, bro. I'm like, I'll talk shit. Yeah, I'm like, you motherfucker. If I catch you,
you start throwing sticks,
flashlight, baton, just thing. Dude, I've caught him.
Out the spike strip for him.
I've caught him. I looked at dudes. I'm like, why'd you run? You ain't look fast. Got you, didn't I? Yeah. Dude, I've had people say thank you after I read. I'm just cool. Like, I don't take it personal, man. I understand because I was on the other side, right? My job is to run, not get caught. If I'm a career criminal. I didn't want to, whatever. I wasn't a career criminal. But if you're in that just line of work, part-time, yeah. I didn't, you know, I never dive into anything too much. I like to do a lot. So part-time. But if that's what I'm doing, my job is, and I understand your job is to catch me. And when you catch me, you got me, bro. I tried. I failed.
So you would say that confidently your past with trouble with the cops has made you a better cop today?
1000%. Now, that's not to say get in trouble to understand.
That's not the lesson here.
That's not the lesson. What I'm saying is if you apply your past to what you're doing with the best of intentions, you can learn a lot. You can be different, right? Because we all experience, like, we both do podcasts. The people you've talked to and the people I've talked to, some of them cross paths, some of them don't. And even if they do, they've talked to you about different things and they've talked to me. So, like, every experience that you get the benefit from. You know, if you pull things from every experience and you apply them with good intention, imagine if you did that with everything you did.
Yeah.
Every person you met, every experience you encountered, every job you've worked, right? Like, I learned stuff from Golden Corral. I've learned stuff I won't share, and I've learned stuff that I apply to till today. You know, multitasking. That was one of the best ways to apply multitasking. I have to take someone's money and give them a drink, take them to their table, and then I got to run to the back for 30 minutes and help cook food and then prepare, and then the server go on a smoke break, so now I got to go serve. Like, I've never done more things in a short amount of time than working fast food. That's how you deal with, like, people who apply that job well. They're the most patient people you'll ever meet.
Dude, I'm telling you, like, your mindset around things is not common. You find value in everything.
Everything. I'm greedy.
But that's amazing because you're growing so much faster than the average person because you are looking at the value. You could have a job as a janitor and you would probably take in so many positives from that.
Oh, dude, I had the cleanest floors, bro. I'll have the cleanest floors.
And probably 1,000 other things that you would come up with, right? And there's just people out there that don't look at things like that.
And it's hard, right? Because, like, I never want to impose on someone. Like, I'm a big believer in, like, I'm gonna let you do what you want to do, but I'm also a believer in, like, there's so much more you could be doing. And, like, my friends, the ones who don't want to do anything, they don't come to me with like ideas anymore, because I'm like, boom, boom, this will be, let's get in there. Like, oh, it was just an idea. I'm not, we're doing it. Like, we're doing it. Let's go. And they're like, damn it, Ish, bro. Like, I already got their logo made. I'm like, we're going. They're like, I didn't want to make this a business. I do this for fun. And I get that. So, like, it's a fine line that I try to ride, but I think everyone is capable of greatness. I truly do. It's just, and it sounds cliche and it's corny, but everyone is. It's a matter of, the sad thing is the majority of people will never dive into that or lean into that. And then they'll be on their deathbed like, man, what if I tried that?
Why do you think they don't? What's the most common reason?
Being comfortable. Comfortable and fear.
Fear. That's what I was thinking.
Fear's a huge motivator to do nothing or to do everything. And, like, that's the thing I try to tell people. It's like, I experience fear. I'm sure you experience fear. People experience fear. The thing that makes people different is what they do with the fear, right? Starting a new business. Most people are afraid to do that. What if I fail? What if my business sucks? What if I make a mistake? What if I get sued? All things that are good things to think about. And then the other person's like, I will fail 1,000 times before this person ever starts. And I will learn 1,000 lessons. And I'll just keep going because I know at the end of this is great things. And guess what? If you fail, you're just going to be where you started already. Where if you'd never decided to do it.
Right.
It's like, what do you lose? Money, that comes. Time is the only thing you don't have. There's the only thing you can't get back.
This kind of goes back to the cop thing. Not to keep going back to the cop stuff.
I get it, bro. I get your relationship. No, I get it.
But it's like, if you fully equip yourself, say you have an idea to start something, a new business. If you equip yourself with all of the knowledge you possibly can, the research, talking to people who have done the same thing, talk to the most successful ones that are doing it, equip yourself to your, most greatest ability, I think that fear would definitely start to diminish a little bit because you would be prepared for those what ifs a lot better than if you just went at it haphazardly, like, oh, I'm just going to fucking do it. Right.
The more people you talk, and that's the thing, there's so many people who have already done it and failed and went a different way, or done it and are doing it successfully. Both groups you can learn from. I won't do this. This is what I need to focus on. Oh, maybe I'll avoid this. And you can start, but the biggest thing is just starting, right? Like, a lot of people getting, like, let's go a lot simpler. The gym. I'm not comfortable with how I look. I am not confident. I hate how I see myself in the mirror. I'm depressed. I want to look better. What's the first thing you can do? Go to the gym, right? Change your diet, go to the gym. The gym is scary. Yes, it is. But, like, put your foot through the door. Talk to the front desk. What programs do you offer? Do you have classes for people who've never been in the gym? Can I get a tour so you can show me around? Because the scariest thing is seeing all this equipment and machines and wondering, where do I start?
It is intimidating.
It's intimidating. Even when
Get yourself a trainer.
Plug.
Shameless.
Right, I might have to because I thought I had big arms.
We'll see with how the arm wrestling goes.
That is strategy. That is not.
I know nothing about it. I just do it.
How many times have you done it on your episodes?
You're number 41. The only one I didn't had rheumatoid. I don't know why I can't say rheumatoid arthritis. That's the only time I didn't.
Is that a
arm
shape?
wrestle.
Rheumatoid?
That's rhomboid.
Oh, yeah, same thing. See, college was good.
Of the 41, there's only one I haven't.
So he's got 40 more times.
You're a freaking cop. You can do anything.
Yeah, arm wrestle. The
Is
next
that
call I
not
go
part of the
to,
academy?
hey, you want to get out of jail? Arm wrestle me right now. I'm like,
You'll be equipped.
yeah. It's like, I did this before.
Oh, yeah, I remember the podcast.
Dude, what if my arm snaps?
No. Okay, look.
No, we're doing it. Regardless. Anyway, we got off track. My ADHD's going.
All right. I need a drink. After all this healthy stuff, let's have some bourbon. You did say that you were willing to drink.
Absolutely.
You did say,
well, sure. Got too excited there. Sure, I'll have a glass.
I suppose.
I'll have a glass.
Is there anything that tickles your fancy here, buddy? I know you're not familiar
I don't
with
know
the
a
bourbon.
damn thing.
You're a tequila
I hear
guy.
people talk about Buffalo Trace, Elijah Craig. I don't know anything else.
Tell you what.
Oh, wait. One thing I did have, which I'm not seeing up here, has the lock on it. Like the little
Oh, larceny.
Larceny. It's the only other thing I
I
know.
did have.
Oh, there's more.
Those
Of course there is.
Okay,
We're surrounded. We're surrounded.
Did I just trigger you?
Goal and air support. You're gonna have a lot of editing to do.
Oh my gosh, so much. Let's do Knob Creek 12, aged 12 years, hence the number. This is good stuff, man.
So what's like is there like a magic time frame for like good bourbon, like where too old gets bad or too young gets bad? Like, is it like wine?
So funny enough, and that's a really good question actually. So with the Knob Creeks, it goes all the way up to 18. Knob Creek has an 18 year. The 18 year is apparently worse than some of the younger ones. So age doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be better.
So there's a sweet spot.
Probably. And with each distiller, they have their own sweet spot, right? But
The more you know.
this 12.
Pour me 12 ounces. Is that it? No, 6. No, what's 1 ounce? I don't know.
1.5 ounces is a pour.
Came to the right place.
I have a heavy pour, I've been told.
I make friends with people with heavy pours. In random places.
They're my favorite people.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Salud. We don't shoot
You are
this,
Italian.
right? Salud. Dude, this is my problem. I was gonna shoot this. No, we're sipping. We sip bourbon.
Don't shoot.
We don't shoot this. We sip bourbon. Okay.
We're not licking it off people's bodies.
Maybe on the weekend. Just kidding.
What do you think?
Smoother than I thought.
Yeah.
Gonna get heartburn later.
That's why
That's good.
The purple cap.
12.
It's 100 proof.
I'm gonna hit my boy up and be like, I just drank Knob Creek 12. And he's gonna be like, give me the bottle. No, I was at someone's house and I
have them come on if you really want to have it.
But
But yeah,
they're nuts with it, man. They like wait in lines, do lotteries, and I don't even know what any of that means, but
I do have friends that do that. I haven't waited in line yet. I haven't called my wife and be like, you need to go here now yet.
yet, what would you do it for? Is there like a specific bourbon you've never had that you'd do it for?
Oh, there's a whole bunch.
So you,
Whole bunch.
So there's a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's gonna get the call, and you have to answer that call.
Put me
Police
on emergency
reference.
dial.
Yeah. Police you answer the call for duty to pick up my bourbon.
But yeah, I haven't. Not that there's anything wrong with the people that wait in line, but I just haven't. There's more important things in life to me
I don't have
than to
patience.
stand in line.
I love tequila. If I walked into the store and there was a line,
You would walk
Like-
right out.
later, like I just find something else to do
Yeah.
or another place to buy it.
Okay. We covered the police officer stuff. How
Do we
does it
sip
feel?
at the same time? Sorry to interrupt.
No,
Can I-
you,
all right, my
you
bad.
sip when you want to sip. I'll sip when I want to sip. How does it feel to be on another podcast, being that you have your own?
Uncomfortable.
Really?
I hate talking about myself. I really do. And it's like different being on this side of it, you know, because like kind of have a way I want it to go. And then you get someone like me on your podcast and you're like, this dude don't shut up. He just talked about how you go from policing to Cavo on the weekend. Like, I don't know how those, like, I go everywhere, bro. So like, it's, and like, I want to know like where you're going with it, and I don't. So I'm like, I'm just going to talk until he steers me.
So you feel out of control a little bit?
Oh, well, that's my life, story of my life, out of control. Dude, I just go.
Yeah.
Like, and I like, that's why I have a good circle around me, because they know Ish, when he points himself, he's going. So they kind of like steer me where I need to go sometimes. So it's good having good support.
Yeah. Well, I was actually, I don't want to say nervous, but you're my first podcaster guest.
First time.
Yeah, it's my first time. So I don't know what your expectations are of me. You know what I mean? Like, is it going to be like, oh my God, that was so lame. He asked the dumbest questions. This setup is stupid. His cameras are dumb. This lighting sucks. You know what I mean? Like, I self-sabotage immediately because I don't have that confidence, and that goes back to my childhood. But I always feel like, you know, I could be doing better and you're going to pick me apart, when most often it's the quite opposite.
See, what's going to happen, I'm going to leave this place. I'm like, that shit was dope. We weren't in a basement. He didn't diddy me. I don't know if I can talk.
Too soon?
Too soon. No, but like, I did do some research, right? Like, Nick hit me. He's like, oh, you're going to my buddy's podcast. I'm like, you know him? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh. He's like, dude, dope dude. You guys have similar mindset. That's all I need to know. Like, I don't meet a lot of people like me. And when I do, it's like you ever seen the Spider-Man meme where you're like pointing, you're like, what's the, like, I know how I can be. Which one am I getting? No. So, and then, you know, coming in, you called me before, like, and that's the one thing I do with my guests too, right? I check in with them, let them know. Cause I've been on several podcasts where I just show up. I'm like, dude, is this going to be like a drama podcast? It's like, are they going to try to like target me or like get clickbaits? And cause I say a lot of shit that you can clickbait it and run with it. Mm-hmm. Right. So I check in with them like, hey, just so you know, if there's anything you don't want to talk about. And because the premise of this podcast is to what? Highlight people's stories. Yep. Hopefully people pull stuff from it. So it's like, I'm never going to intentionally jam you up. I just mentioned something. Unintentionally. Yeah, I just mentioned something I don't know if we can be talking about because go in litigation. But so yeah, it's like intention, right? Like I came in here with the best of intentions. I feel you did too. Then your setup is dope. Like your setup is dope. So I was hoping to talk shit, but I can't. No. Okay.
Well, maybe next time. But I mean, yeah, seriously, like I do get a little bit nervous before every episode because I want it to be perfect. I have high expectations of myself, you know, so there's that anticipation that it could suck in my own eyes. The viewer's not going to notice little glitches here and there probably, but I want it to be perfect. So,
but what's wrong with that?
Nothing. It makes me continually want to be better. Right?
Yeah, and I think that's what some people struggle with that, right? They're like, well, I want it to be perfect. And then they hit a wall. Before I even launched my podcast, that's where I was at. I need the best audio, right? Dropped stupid money on mics. Well, now I need the best video. Spent too much money on different cameras. Well, like I need the best software. So I found myself creating excuses to not just start, right? So that idea of perfection, right? Like, well, we all want it to be perfect. Some people will jump in and iron out the details as they go, you know, changing things here and there, which is what I learned was the best way to do it for me.
It's like that saying, if you're the most successful person in the room, then you're in the wrong room.
For sure. I believe that. I want to be surrounded by people who are smarter than me, who are better than me, especially in the things I have a passion for. Like, you will never find me associating with like just regular cops. Like the cops I do associate with, they train regularly. They approach the job like I do. Agents, that's another industry I Oh, dude, the whole real estate industry, I feel like, not the whole, but like there's a lot of people in it for the wrong reasons, right? And it's ruined the industry. People are like, oh, we got to do all this. Why? Because of lazy agents who didn't do what they were supposed to. And then this ruling comes out, right? And people are like, oh, finally, no fixed commissions. There was never fixed commissions. There was never fixed commissions. The problem is agents didn't talk with their clients. They were lazy. Oh, standard rate. Not a thing. Not a thing. So it's changed the entire industry, but I'll never associate with people like, I'm cordial. I'm cool. I love talking to people and learning about people. But like, if we don't align, like, I'm going to let you be over there and I'm going to stay over here. Same with the gym, right? There's people in the gym who are dope dudes and there's people who are, you're just like, you're a tool. So
what do you get more satisfaction from doing? Putting handcuffs on somebody or handing someone the keys to their new house?
I never like putting handcuffs on anyone. Like I got it like that. I got to say, yeah. I mean, no, there's been some times I've enjoyed it. Like there's some people out there that you're just like, I can't believe you walked this earth. But that's beside the point. That's an easy question. Giving someone the keys to their house, you know, it's like, whether it's an investment, like, wow, your first investment property, or your 30th, you're building something, or your first house, like you're going to raise your kids in here, or you're going to make memories in here. You're going to wake up every day and be like, this is mine. I think it's very exciting when you buy. I never owned a house until 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. Never owned a house. My mom never owned a house until 3 years ago.
Wow.
Like we grew up moving from apartment to apartment to apartment to my first house we moved into that we rented, I was like 15. So like we've never had anything that was like ours. And then, you know, when I bought my first house, I was actually living in it. I was renting it out. And then the dude decided to sell it. And I was like, well, I'm a realtor, so I can save you money on that. I can do the deal. But like, I'm buying this house. And we end up working a deal. I buy it. And I remember the day I signed the paperwork, the next morning, I woke up like I was in a new house. Just because it was mine.
You had been living in it.
Nothing changed.
Wow.
But it was mine.
Yeah, the pride.
Yeah, pride. Like I own something now.
I earned this.
This is the start to something more, right? Like now I want to buy 50 more houses because it's like that feeling, you know? So giving someone the keys to their house. Final answer.
Good answer. And I did expect you to say that. So I need to ask, you are a successful cop. You seem to enjoy it. Why did you get into real estate when you were comfortable?
So I wasn't comfortable. One thing I love, like I said, I love learning new things. And the real estate industry, what I want to do, one of my goals in the real estate industry is to buy property and rent it out, get a portfolio. Initially it was the commercial side, right? Like owning plazas and this and that, but there's steps to that, right? So I was like, oh, I'll buy a couple houses, rent out a couple houses, you know, be a cool landlord, like provide opportunities for people who, you know, didn't have them like me. Cause I've met some landlords and they're like, well, this is it. This is the lead. And I'm like, bro, like, I'm a broke college kid. Like, you're going to have my money. You're going to have it. Can I just give it to you in 2 days? Extra $200. I don't got the money to give you now, and you want me to give you like, and I get it. Yeah. Like you want to ensure you get paid, but it's a case by case basis. So I got into the real estate industry to learn it so that I can start applying it for myself. And the longer I've been in, I'm just like, it's cool. Like, you know, I'm talking with people and they're excited. I'm showing them houses, and like a lot of agents like to do the listing because it's easy. You list it, you put it out there, and you sit back and wait. But like I enjoy the buyer side. I enjoy driving to houses, meeting people, going in. Like, you know, this is the living room, and they're like, oh man, we can put little Johnny's picture up here, and I'm like, yeah, you know, like, or this can be, you know, whatever. Like I love that excitement because when you're talking about buying something, you're talking about dreams and goals and motivation, and next thing you know, the dude's like, well, I can, you know, I've always wanted to start this business. Like, you think about it, when you make big decisions like that, you jumped and you succeeded, so you tend to jump again.
Yes. So
like that's the part I love about these encounters.
Like the juices are flowing, and they just want to Dream bigger and
Dude,
bigger.
I get fired up, bro. I'm getting fired up right now when people are like, I just showed a house. And like the dude's talking about like, oh man, we're going to turn this to home office we've always wanted. And like, this is going to take my business here. And I get it. There's a lot involved to that. But like, he's thinking that. He's like, oh, we can do this. You can stay home more. You've always wanted to stay home more. And I'm like, look at their goals are like starting to like fall into place. Dude, I fucking love that.
Did you ever headbutt a client?
Dude,
Like,
man,
yeah.
I chest bumped one. He was like 130 pounds. I almost sent him to the other side. I was just so excited, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, yeah, dude, boom. And he's like, oh my God. I'm sorry, bro. That's how I am. I get so like excited about stuff. I get more excited than people about their own stuff, man. I don't know. It's tough, but
I want to know like what people think when you pull up to show the house, because you're not your typical real estate agent. Let's face it.
oh, I wish people were honest with me. I see their eyes though. They're like, and I'll be like, hey, what's up, bro? And they're like, oh, like, is he here to rob me or is he here to like? I get it. I know how I look, but once my mouth opens, bro, I'm sure they're like, but I've had little kids just like, no lie, it's like movie moment. A little teddy bear. They're like playing. I pull up, and like usually I'm 15 minutes early. They were earlier than me, which fail, right? Like failure as an agent. Yeah. I'm like, dude, you're like, when were you here? 30 minutes ago? But I get it. So I pull up, little kids in the driveway, and they're like playing. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good, right? I get out, the little kid just stops and drops her toy. I'm like, damn. Luckily, the family was cool. So I pick it up. I'm like, oh, here you go. Da, da, da. And like, I end up playing with like the kids more. And I'm like, oh my God, you like this room? Da, 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 da. And the parents are like, I'm sorry, what did the sellers disclose? Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, back to, I don't know, dude. Kids are like so innocent and joyful. And like, you know, I feel like that's how I am. I'm like a big kid. You know, people look at me like, how old are you? Like, what's it matter? I'm full of life.
How old are you?
You never ask a lady that. No, me, I'm 31.
Okay.
I almost said 30. I forget that I'm over the hill.
I'm 45. I had no idea what your age
it's
was.
The bourbon, huh?
Yeah, it keeps you young. That is not a study. I cannot prove that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to put a disclaimer down here now.
Roll it with my hand.
You know I will.
I'll do both sides in case you have to. They got to see it twice.
Don't do this. Oh,
on the screen.
You did it. But I do love that. Again, you're passionate about everything.
I think I lacked that as a kid. I was like in survival mode for so long. So like when I got that taste of like, this is what excitement feels like, why not be excited about everything from the small to the big? You know, it's like you get to be excited. We get to feel joy. These are things we get to do. Like I can't explain it. Like we get to do these things. Like when I see people, dude, I'll be having the worst day, and I've been having a lot of bad days lately, you know. And to be transparent, but like I go to work, and I'm like, dude, there's people who want this job. There's kids in the academy paying their last dollar to pay the academy to do all this, and I'm here taking advantage of it. Like, no, I'm gonna be my best self. It may not be Ish's 100 at all times, but at that point in time, it's gonna be my best self. Like that's how you have to approach everything.
You're not taking your bad day out on the world like most people do.
No, I just internalize it and drink. No, I'm kidding. I gotta stop joking.
Yeah, people are gonna be.
I do internalize
they're
it a lot.
taking notes. Yeah,
I do internalize it a lot because it's not for people to deal with. It's for me to deal with. It's something, and you know, if I have to talk to people, I will and stuff. But at the end of the day, your bad is for you. You shouldn't have people walking on eggshells like, oh man, how is Ish gonna be today? Like, no, like that, nobody deserves that, you know. And I understand that, so I internalize it, and people take that as like, oh, you're closing off. No, you want to talk to me about it? Let's talk.
You're almost closing off because you don't want to burden someone with it.
Yeah, like it's my problem. I'll deal with it. I've dealt with it.
Do you feel like you have people you can talk to?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
You surround yourself with a good group of people, and
Just
your
wanna
bad
make sure
days.
you're okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. But like you surround yourself, and that's what I say. That system, right? Like growing up, I didn't have that, so I acted out. I fought for attention, literally and figuratively. But like you surround yourself by a good core people, similar mindset, similar thought process, people you can be open with. Because when, let's say you are having a bad day, you don't want to burden people, but your circle knows, right? They're like, they know how to approach you, right? They're like, hey, Ish, Like, you good? Yeah, bro. Are you good? All right, let's go talk. Like that.
Yeah.
You have that encounter. You understand each other. So
you said the magic word circle, and we've talked about friend circles on this podcast quite a bit, and how the older you get, your circle's starting to tighten up a little bit because you start looking for like-minded people to be in your circle. Are you at that point in life?
I'm always tightening my circle. And then that's no disrespect to anybody currently in my circle, but I understand people change, intentions change, experiences change, you know, where people want to go change, right? Like I've had business partners and people I would die for, and then money was their motivator. And they did some decisions that it wasn't like a loyal decision. It was like, for me, money decision. I can respect that. That's not where I'm at though. And you know, we just agreed to disagree and went our ways. Like nothing against them, nothing against me, but this is where I want to be. And those who want to be there, I will appreciate you forever. I'll die for you. I'll kill for you. If you don't want to be there, that's fine. That's okay. But I think it's important to do that because it keeps everything raw and real, right? Once we start allowing some things to slip by, years down the road, you're going to be like, "Why? How did we even get here?" You know, that's why you should always check things respectfully, but approach it directly, good intention. And guess what? Sometimes you may be wrong. Sometimes you may offend someone, but that's where that good intention comes in, right? Hey, my bad, bro. Bad call. And having someone who can approach it the same and understand that and go, I know you didn't mean bad, but I didn't respect that. We can agree to disagree. Where do we go from here? Do we maintain our relationship? And most times, yes, because you guys have that foundation. You can apply that to anything.
And I think if your circle doesn't tighten and you let the wrong people in, that could change you as a person. You seem like you're pretty steadfast in who you are. Like no one's going to change you. But I think there's people out there that don't have that thick shell that you do, that can be motivated to do something maybe they didn't want to do, or to think something they didn't want to think. And those friend circles, those toxic friends, can definitely creep in there and make you somebody you might not want to be.
So you said it. You have to figure out who you are. And that doesn't mean what you do. Like people, who am I? I'm a cop. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a uncle. What? That's not who you are.
Right.
Those are
that's
roles
what you do.
Those are roles you play.
Yeah.
Who are you? What are the values you will die for? Like no matter who violates them, like that's where you stand on. It's dramatic and it's extreme, but if you have to figure that out, because once you figure that out, you can be a great husband. You can be a great friend, a great father. But if you don't have that figured out, you're always chasing something. And we all know when you're chasing something, what happens. Sometimes you catch it, sometimes you fall, sometimes. So having who you are here, everything else figures itself out.
You feel like you figured who you are?
No, I'm always tailoring.
Yeah.
Always tailoring. My foundation's there, right? Like integrity, respect.
Sure.
The golden rule. Like if I approach you away, I am 100% on board with me being approached that way. And that's not for everybody. I get it. So I approach some people in a way that they would deem more respectful. But I'm always looking for how I can be better, how I can improve, because as soon as I think I'm perfect, that's when you're not.
What do you think is a common misconception people have of you that you'd like to clear up? Like, do you think that you're put in some sort of corner that you don't belong in just because of either the way you look or the way you talk or whatever?
Aggressive. I get called aggressive a lot.
How?
I think my passion gets mistaken for aggression.
Okay.
And that's with everything, right? Like the good things. When I'm having a good time, I'm loud, I'm obnoxious, I'm dancing. You ever seen a 230-pound, 5'7" dude attempt breakdancing? No. Well, that's me.
I'm going to be searching YouTube for it.
Well, there's one video out there of me just wiping shit at a wedding. I was trying to do the Michael Jackson. I had flat shoes, and I just whoop. And who's calling?
Nico. Come on, Nico.
Told you, dude. Every time, dude.
busy.
It's my homie. He's like, I sense he's on a podcast. But yeah, I did it. Now we're having a good time. I'm on the dance floor. Michael Jackson comes on. I'm like, oh, boom. And I'm sober. Dude.
You have the video?
I could find it.
It's going to be playing. You're welcome.
I'll send it to you. Damn it.
you.
I shouldn't have said nothing. I can't find the video. No, see, now I'm going against
late.
my morals.
Too late.
But yeah, aggressiveness.
Okay.
Because passion, man. Like, it's that fire, right? Like, fire burns sometimes. Fire hurts sometimes. Fire gives light. Fire gives warmth. The same thing that burns you will warm you. It's just a matter of, like, where you're applying the fire.
I think the fact that you're seen as aggressive just goes to show that there aren't enough passionate people out there, too.
So, I don't want to say that, but I just feel like we as people have been so distracted with, not to get too crazy, like what's going on politically and what's going on social media and what this influencer's doing. And we get so sucked into things that don't matter, that it either puts us in a place like, oh, I don't look like that, or I'm helpless right now, or doesn't matter what I do, things are going to be the same. Yeah. Like, we get, like, it's all a lie. It's a facade, you know. And then you meet someone like me and you're like, how the fuck can you be so, like, just bouncy all the time? Like, you're 230. When does the energy run out? Put me on a mat, 5 minutes. But everything else in life, I'm going, bro. I'm going. It's just, I don't know. It's all perception, how you perceive things. And like, I have conversations with people, like the gym one. I'm like, why don't you just go? Well, I don't feel like it. So what? I don't feel like it all the time either. I just go. Well, I'm not you. I know you're not me. What I'm trying to say is just try it. No, it looks hard.
That's the separation of motivation and discipline, though, right?
But you build the discipline by doing it when you don't want to do it.
Right.
Like, if everyone was motivated, dude, think about how crazy the world would be. If you were always motivated to do everything, if you wanted to work every single day of your life.
That would be an annoying place to live.
Dude, it's like, hi, I'm on your podcast. It's like, that better not be on no B-roll either, dude. I'm calling it right now. Put my foot down on that.
Thoughts?
I can't reach the floor. He can. I was going to stomp, but I can't. But yeah, like, it's not about, like, motivation is great. It's awesome. It is good. It's fuel. But, like, it's not always there. So what do you depend on when the motivation isn't there? The discipline that you built, but you can't build it unless you just start. When it sucks, when it's hard, when you're tired, when you're sore. Like, that's when you build the discipline. You don't build the discipline when you've had 12 hours of sleep, you ate all your macros, you got overkill in your system. You're welcome, Greg. And you're just fired up to go. You have the best music playlist and the drive there. People were like, hello. Like, that's not when you build discipline.
Right.
It's when you slept 4 hours and you know you have to go. And you have your shift after that. So, you know, if you skip this, you know you're going to have a bad shift. You know people depend on you. You know if you skip this, you're probably going to skip the next one. That's when you go.
But those are the best workouts, though.
Oh,
right.
I've never left a workout and gone, oh, regret that, man. It's contrary. It's contrary, right?
Sure.
Like, I'm there, and yeah, maybe I'm like, I don't want to be here, but no, I'm doing bench today. Boom. Well, got another set. Boom. I know I have to go up. Boom. All right, now we're doing biceps, right? Okay, boom.
I see a pump.
Yeah. Ooh, look at the vein in it. Next thing you know, you leave, you're like, you know, it wasn't my best workout, but I'm glad I did it. Mm-hmm. I'm glad I finished it. I'm glad I got through it.
And the rest of your day is better, too.
Oh, dude, when I miss the gym, I'm driving in my car. I'm like, as soon as I park, I'm like, what's up, bro? And then I go change in the locker room. I'm like, fuck, I can't believe
you get extra aggressive.
Yeah. What's up, bro? Hug me. Ish. Did you miss the gym today? I need a hug. I'm not, dude. People at work hate me, bro. I'm sure they do. I come in and I'm like, hey.
I could see it.
Who pissed in your cereal this morning? Come here, give me a hug. And they're like, bro, you too damn big to be hugging people. I'm like, I just sit there and I go,
give me the sugar.
I'll wait right here. You can't pass me until you hug me. I'm that dude, bro. I don't know. Share
so
love,
funny.
bro. Spread love. I know it sounds corny, but it's simple. Like smiling at someone walking. You know what I mean? People are like, hi to me. Yeah, hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm good. How are you?
Yeah.
Like to strangers. They're
it's almost like someone picking up when you were expecting it to go to voicemail. It's just
Can you hang up? Actually, I'm gonna call. Don't answer.
We need to try this again.
Yeah. That happens to me sometimes. So like I'll just leave a voicemail another bit. Hello. Oh, not prepared for this. Hold on.
Wrong number.
Yeah. Ish. No, it's not Ish. I stole his phone.
All right, buddy. It's arm wrestling time.
Oh. Hold on. Let me take one more sip.
That doesn't make you stronger.
We shall.
I'm actually excited for this.
No, don't be. I'm your guest, so you have to like.
I mean, I do
give
have
me
to be
some
polite.
brownie points or something.
All right. As you know, I'm going to ask you a question as we do this.
If it requires me to think, dude, look at. I don't even reach the dude's.
Same. I see no difference. Get you a booster seat.
Oh, let me leverage this, dude. I've seen that before.
You start whenever you're ready.
That tells me that you're ready. What's the question?
Ish, what's your next goal now that you've done leasing, real estate, podcasting? What's next?
Right now to win this, but the next thing I'd like to do is Relentless. I think I definitely want to increase the podcast. Oh, there's a tie? You didn't tell me we can tie.
Yes, we can.
I don't look too bad then. All my fans, I know you were expecting me to take him out, but he was a tough opponent. No, my next goal, I do want to like push the podcast more. It's something that I have found myself like just going through the motions and stuff, and like every conversation, 100%, but like the editing, right? Like like the last episode was kind of grainy, and I'm like, yeah, it is. I don't have the time to do it right now. So like I found myself doing that the last couple episodes, and that's just unacceptable. So definitely diving into it more and being more mindful of what I'm putting out.
Okay. So constantly trying to improve on your craft.
For sure.
That's the theme of your life, man.
Hey man, if you're not pushing forward, you're falling backwards. I say that a lot, but I truly believe that. And there are moments that it's understandable that you're falling backwards. Like life's tough. If there was a playbook, someone would be very rich because they would have monetized it. But everyone is in their own game of life. Even if you're like best friends with someone, you grew up with someone, and you do the same exact. You're in your own lane, to approach of life, and the sooner you can understand that, the sooner you can find a new level of respect for people, a new level of just grace and compassion. Right, when someone pops off at you, you can be like, yeah, was that personal, or are they just having like a tough time, rather than just being like, fuck me, oh fuck you, and then you just get into a fuck you match. Doesn't solve anything. Everything I look into like how can we solve this, or how can this be made beneficial, right? Arguments, like why'd you say that? What did you gain from that? Like you just told me to go play in traffic. What was solved?
Who hurt you?
What was solved, right? So I think the sooner you can understand, like, hey, I'm doing the best I can, and I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt that they're doing the best they can. And sometimes people are going to show you their colors, and when they do, I don't want to associate it with that. I'm going to go this way, rather than just spending energy. I was having a conversation today with someone. People have been hitting me up on Instagram, and I fully embrace it. Like, message me. People have been telling me message me. I try to talk to everyone, you know. They're like, yeah, man, this dude really like effed me over, and like I fucking hate him, can't stand him. And I'm like, what is that getting you? Like, what do you mean? Like hating this person? Like, I understand emotions sometimes they come, you can't really control them, but like I checked you on it. We're talking about it now. You're aware. Yeah. What are you gaining from hating this person? I'll never let him in my life again. Cool. Good first step. You don't have to hate someone to go, hey, you lost access to me. You broke my trust. You lost access to me. Cool.
Yeah.
You'll never have that access. Like, what is investing an emotion into someone intentional, right? Because like when you think of that person, you start intentionally thinking about all the things they did to make you angry, and then you're like, oh, I hate that if I see him.
You've wasted half your day just reminiscing about stuff that.
And then you approach, this person because this one did it. This one did nothing to you, and they can easily use that same approach to you. Like, I did nothing to this person, and they just disrespected me. Yeah. So you have to think it's a balance, but like, use your energy wisely. Time we don't get back. Energy, you recoup it, but like, the more you use for something good, the further you're going to get in whatever you're trying to do.
I'm going to say this respectfully, but you're going to annoy a lot of people watching this. And that is because what you're saying is so truthful, but to change the mindset, if you don't have that mindset, takes work. And people are immediately going to be like, oh my God, he is so annoying. He's so fake. He's not always this positive. They're going to pick you apart.
Let them. This is what I tell these people. I was there. Yeah. I was that person. I hated my life growing up. The world was against me. I got the short end of the stick. The cards weren't handed to me appropriately in the order that I should have been given. Yeah. I didn't get a silver spoon. This is stuff I've told myself. And you know what the cliche, the irony is? I saw people who thought like this. Man, you're corny. This isn't real. How are you in real life? Find me in real life. And you're going to be annoyed because this is who I am. Yeah. I'm the dude at a club or at a bar, and I'm talking to, I'm getting my drink, and I see a dude. I'm like, oh, what's up? Hey, what's up? We'll have a whole ass conversation. Like, yo, where the fuck did you go for the last hour? Oh, dude, I just met this dude at the bar. Like, coolest fucking dude, man. He's coming over in 5 minutes, actually. What? I'm like, yeah. But like, that's how I am, But I was also that person, right? Like, and yes, I get depressed. Yes, I have bad days. Yes, shit sucks. But I'm better equipped to deal with it now because of the mindset that I've built. It's not built in a day. It's not built in a year. Some people can. It wasn't me. It took years and years and years and years to like practice. Not only practice what I believe, but lean into it, right? Because there's days you're like, this is stupid. Yeah. No, that's a lie. I just told myself a lie, and that's what I do when I'm like feeling down. Like, I feel this. It's understandable, but it's a lie. It's not true. Like, I have a good life. I have a good life. I'm just having a bad day. I'm not going to let my bad day turn into a bad life or a bad, like, sure. You have to check it. You have to approach it. And that's the biggest thing, is being able to be like, pause. Do I have a bad life, or am I just going through a bad time? And at the end of bad times, lessons, great things. I've met the closest of friends through the hardest of times. How, like, and I'm sure this is possible, but you have the best days ever all the time. You meet someone. You never go through trials, tribulations, none of that. There's no grinding of gears, no iron sharpening iron, none of that exists. You have a bad day. That other person doesn't, but you do. Are they going to want to be there? No. I'm like, whoa, bad vibes, leaving. Mm-hmm. No, like, the best relationships are formed in the fire. The hardest steel is made through burning it and beating it, burning it and beating it. And that's not to be dramatic, but that can be, you get passed over on the promotion. All right, what are you about to do about it? Are you going to sit at your desk and not work anymore because they don't value me? Or are you going to go, I'm going to show you what you missed, and turn over more product or more sales or whatever your industry is? Like, what are you going to do? You can sit and stew, which is okay. But then what? You can only sit and stew for so long.
I have a real world experience of that. I just got laid off 3 weeks ago.
Well, shit. I'm sorry. Sorry to
totally
hear that.
Unexpected. It was a Tuesday at 11 a.m. and my boss called a sales update meeting. And he's sitting with someone from HR on video.
Oh, I know what that means.
I was just like, what is happening right now? Shaun, we very monotone. We decided very monotone. This is so and so. She's going to talk about steps moving forward. Your last day is going to be Friday the 13th. Was my last day.
Well, thanks.
Do you have any questions? I don't know what the fuck you just said to me. So no, I don't have any questions. I need to go cry and think about this, and then if I think of some questions, I'll shoot you an email. But
once you're out of their face, though, they don't care about your questions.
No. But to your point, I could have felt sorry for myself for the next weeks, months, whatever. I got laid off. Poor Shaun. Somebody help me, right? No. I was like, fuck you. I'm going to find something even better. I had an interview 2 days later. I've had 4 interviews since then. I have people sending me text messages, referring me to jobs. I'm on the phone with recruiters every day. Right? I didn't have to take that positive approach towards it, but I took it as a challenge. I saw a bigger door opening for me.
And sometimes, like the metaphor of the phoenix, right? The phoenix reaches its full potential, and then it has to crash and burn into ashes before the baby phoenix comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds corny, sounds cliche. And also another thing I want to mention, it's like, if you sit and stew, no one's gonna fault you. Some people have worked jobs for 15, 20 years, and then right before retire, I got 2 years to retire. Actually, sorry, we gotta let you go. That's tough. I'd be fake to be like, use that to. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks. What I'm saying is, feel what you feel, but while you're feeling that, like, start putting a plan in motion. Like, what now? Because what now is coming. A lot of these opportunities will come when you feel like you lost it all, because you were never gonna leave that. You've outgrown that, right? And you were comfortable. You were never gonna leave it. Sometimes you gotta lose it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta lose it before you're like, man, what else is there? And I guarantee you, in 2 years, you're gonna look back and be like, I'm so glad I got laid off. If you approach it the way you're approaching it.
I already feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
honestly.
Like, thank goodness I got laid off.
Yeah.
I would have never left.
Yep.
And a lot of people get stuck in that, I got laid off. You got a clean slate now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd start now, because bills are coming. The clock is going. Like, we gotta, I get it, feel what you feel, but while you feel it, let's start planning.
Yeah.
That's your approach.
I had my moment after that meeting.
Understandably so.
But, yeah, then it was like, all right, the clock's still running. It's game time. Even my own son, he was like, Dad, that sucks, but it's you, Dad. Like, you're going to find something probably next week. Like, he knows my mentality.
You can't fail now.
He knows my mentality.
Can't fail
though.
now.
Well, yeah.
So I'm saying you got, and that's another thing. Like, you have to look at it like, do people depend on me?
Mm-hmm. You
may not have a family. You may not, but you have friends. You have people who look up to you that you'll never know. Like, I was having this conversation with my daughter. I'm like, people are looking at you and your approach to when you drop the ball. Are you stomping your foot and walking off and not being a teammate? Or are you like, when your teammate drops it, hey, you got the next one. You got the next one. You got it. Like, people pick up all that, right?
Yeah.
And it's a matter of something superficial, right? Like, I don't think I want to be associated with that person.
Yeah.
Or something like, dude, that's how I want to be.
Yeah.
How do I get there? Let me talk to him.
So funny enough, so the last 6 weeks, I broke my foot, I got laid off, and I now have a herniated disc in my neck. That's why I'm very fidgety right now, and I probably need neck surgery. All in the last 6 weeks.
3 for 3, man. Good things come in threes, though.
I saw a friend of mine at the gym yesterday. He knows all the stuff that's going on. He came up, he gave me a hug, right? He's like, you good? I was like, yeah, I'm good. And he was almost like surprised that I said I was good. He's like, you sure? I said, bro, I'm good. Like, yeah, I'm good. Better things are coming. But people don't expect, after enduring a storm like that you're going to come out clean, smiling, like positive, right? That's just not the society we live in anymore. Like, I should be moping around. Right? That's what people expect.
And you know, it's crazy. People would be comfortable with that. Like, oh, it's understandable. And they'll let you sit there because it's normal.
Mm-hmm. But I was just like, I had my headphones on. I was like, good song was on. I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm good.
I'm about to destroy this
like,
lift, though.
So he almost looked at me like I was like, are you sure?
Don't be
But
normal.
yeah.
Don't be normal.
Yep.
Be weird. Be happy when you shouldn't be. That's not to say you're not feeling everything else. But like, you, at the end of the day, you get to choose a lot of things. Like, you get to choose to be happy. Like, you ever heard the study where the people fake smile? They tell people, hey, just smile. It was like, I forget where it was, but it was like every so often on the clock, you have to smile. Now you're stuck in this room, so you're probably not happy. But like, what they noticed was people started conversations, people started like interacting, and there was two groups. There was one who they were just told, sit in this room. It was like a waiting room, sit in this room. And there was another one was like, hey, sit in this room. Every time this light, I think it was a light, every time this light goes on, smile. Even if like whatever, just smile.
Yeah.
The vibes in both rooms were completely different.
I believe it.
And it's like, you can see it as a smile. How corny is it to be walking down? I'm mad. I'm mad. But like, it probably looks so stupid on camera. But the premise, right? I speak in metaphors. The premise is, you know, man, I don't feel good today. I'm down, but I got to go to the gym. I'm just going to go. I'm going to fake it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. I'm going to show up. I'm going to lift some weights or run or whatever your gym routine is. Right? Your friend asked you to move furniture. Man, I'm not in the mood, but I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I told him I'd do it. I'm going to go. Like, all these things start to build, like, even if it's little bit and you don't really see, it's like a snowfall, right? Like, if you take a snowflake in and of itself, it's irrelevant compared to the area it's landing in.
Yeah.
Ask Buffalo if snowflakes are irrelevant. What was it, 8 feet one day? There's a bunch of snowflakes piled on each other, nonstop. They just fall consistently. Yeah. Build a consistency. Remain relentless. I had to plug that in. But that's the whole premise of it, right? Just keep pushing, keep going forward. And success is bound to come. And whatever it is you're looking at, happiness, money, relationships. Yep. Like, my favorite is, got my heart broken, done dating. You're 24. You're gonna be single for the rest of your life? Right. No. You're gonna get back into it, and you're gonna keep trying. Just remember that. It sucks right now, but when you meet your wife or husband or the lover of your life, these dudes or chicks aren't going to matter. They're not going to matter. You're going to be thankful. You're going to be thankful it failed. You're going to be thankful you lost your job. You're going to be thankful that all this imploded, because without that, you can't have what you have now.
Yep.
Sayonara.
Sayonara. Mic drop. But, okay, as we close out, though, Ish, do you have any questions for me?
How'd you get so thick and juicy? No, I'm kidding. What made you start the podcast? I get asked that all the time.
So we kind of touched on it indirectly earlier. Relatability. The very successful people in life discourage me. It almost makes me not want to try to become what they've become, because it almost seems like it's out of reach.
Interesting.
Right? So in trying to build my personal training brand, I was trying to find something that set me apart. And I did a lot of research, be different, be authentic, be fake, be real. All of these different things are thrown your way. And, you start trying to reach out to the coaches that are very successful. And it's just like, I can't relate to that. You have a chef making your food. You're driving amazing vehicles. You have $1 million home. But yet, like, I'm supposed to envision this as my future? No. I can't. So again, that would discourage me, and I would just be like, fuck that. So I wanted to have a podcast where normal people would tell their stories, whatever they've overcome in life, whatever they've gone through in life, and have it be relatable to the viewer who could be going through similar, not exact situations, but a similar, struggle. whatever it may be, be like, oh, Ish, I've heard of him before. You know, I've heard of his podcast, or he's friends of a friend, or I see him on patrol, or I saw him at Target last week. I can relate to those people, right? Because they're real, they're in reach. So, yeah, I wanted real people to be able to, again, this is also an opportunity for you to open up about things that you might not have talked about for a very long time. Confess to things that
I will never confess. I will never.
I can tell. Like you've had a lot of teasers that you don't open up about, and I respect that. And I'm not here for the dirt. I do like some dirt here and there, but you are obviously secretive about certain parts of your life, and I totally respect that. But there's also people that sit in your seat that they say things on this show that they haven't told more than like 2 people before, and they've just told the world, and it's a release for them to be able to open up and be vulnerable. That's why it's called Barbells and Bourbon. Yeah, barbells, bourbon, whatever. Barbells is strength, and it takes strength to be able to sit there and talk about some of the things you've talked about today, and for the person that sits there next week too. So
what's the bourbon?
Comfort.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
because you've made me feel so comfortable.
Come here. But I mean, seriously, do you feel comfortable? This is my home.
Sure, dude. When you said that, I was like, because I got a studio, right? Because in my mind, I was like, I want to have a place where people can go. Yeah. A place away, right? Well, then you're like, well, I'm bringing people into my house. Yeah. You have to be comfortable. I almost took off my shoes to come in here. Like,
when you walk in the door, my dogs greet you. You meet, you might meet the wife. You're in my home. This is my space. Yeah. This is my studio / home office.
Can I tell a secret? It's not in the basement. It is not in the basement. I thought it was. It looks very
basement-like.
Hey, it's a nice setup. Come on the podcast.
But yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, it's a comfortable environment, and that's where the bourbon part. So, and it's the brand.
Right? No, I appreciate you inviting me into your home, man. Yeah. Like, I can be very aggressive. Can look scary.
I don't think you're aggressive.
Well, that's because we connect.
Yes.
We telepathically.
I see right through you, man. I see right through you. That's why we had the romantic red theme going.
Yeah, well, I don't think they picked up on that. They're like cop stuff. No, he did this to wine and dine me. So, hate to break it to you. I was his favorite guest. No.
But seriously, I do appreciate you coming. Again, I know you don't like talking about yourself. You're not used to talking about yourself, but it's important to talk about yourself. And I think repeating some of the things that you already know about yourself, it just solidifies like you are who you are, right? You're confident in the person that you've become. And it also kind of holds you accountable to continue to be that person because you've just documented it.
I am so glad you said that because that is like one of the biggest things for the podcast for me. I was like, I can't pretend. When you're doing this and you're putting yourself out there, you don't get to pretend. And when you do, it doesn't last very long. And that's one thing I pride myself in. Ain't nothing I do pretend. Unless I'm pretending to like be happy. But then I'll be happy by pretending. It's the only time I pretend. But dude, there's power in like going through the movements that you have to do because you know you have to do them. Yeah. You know, and sometimes you're on those days where you're like, man, I really want to do this, but that's not who I am. Like when people test me, I really want to smack this man across the face, but that's not who I am anymore. There's letting you into my past life. Had a thing for smacking dudes in the face. Like you disrespect me, imagine a man smacking you in the face. Hella disrespectful. Not saying that's the way to go. I've obviously learned a lot of lessons from that, but like just
so like, that was your way of really putting them down.
Dude, I never talked, man. Like if you had an issue with me and you're in my face, I told you one time, bro, back out my face. And if the next thing out of your mouth wasn't, all right, my bad, boop.
Bitch slap him.
Dude, most people just, do I have your attention? Now, sometimes I let me get my ass beat. I'll admit that. Other times, I got the upper hand. And most times, actually, people just stood there. Didn't say anything. And I'm like,
I wouldn't know what to do either.
Dude, me, if I got smacked, like, I just get I just get smacked. I'm calling my mom, like, Mom, someone just did your job. Like, you should have did this a long time ago.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you for inviting me on, man. Great thing you got going.
Thanks.
I do watch it. I do sneak peek.
Appreciate it.
So keep it going. Remain relentless. 3 times. Great things come in threes.
But yeah, follow the Relentless project. I'm going to link all of your stuff below the video. I'm going to put stuff on the screen as far as your Instagram handles and such. So make sure you follow Ish. I've already had
More
to do
editing.
this. Follow him. Watch one of these episodes. Just subscribe to the channel. It's free. That's all it takes, right? And I will see you on the next episode of Barbells and Bourbon. Peace.
Bro.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.